Hey friends, what's going on? Jennifer Ebbs here, doing another day of the Freedom for Families boot camp. I have done these for years and years and years, helping moms create businesses remote around their kids' schedule. I'm literally chilling at the Marriott right now. Took the kids to a little staycation so they could have some pool time, some play time. We're on vacation, staycation right now, enjoying the incredible weather, the pool, the fun, the freedom, because that's what this is about. It's about working remote and doing this from anywhere in the world as long as you've got Wi-Fi. So super excited to get into today. Let me know as you hop on if you were able to attend our little one-on-one. We did a closed call yesterday where I opened up my laptop and I worked. And I did the business in front of some people who joined. And if you were on that and you had an aha moment or you saw something, then do me a favor and share that in the chat, because that's really valuable. When you're following someone who is leading from the front and doing the business in front of you, then you know what to do. And I can tell you from past experience, I would join opportunities and I would not get any help or any support or any encouragement or any guidance. I totally felt like I was out on this island. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't making sales. It wasn't working. And I was so super frustrated. But I was in a position where I was in so much debt that getting a job was never going to pay that back. So I had to figure out how this was going to work. Now, I was really, really fortunate because when I first got introduced to marketing and online marketing and what that means and what that looks like, I actually had just had my daughter. It was 2014. Kaden was born. And the second that they laid that gorgeous girl on my chest, I was like, yeah, I'm not going back to work. And I had a really, really great salary. I had a really great career, but I was not going back to work. And I was like, what do I do? And so their father said, well, make $500 a month and cover your truck payment and I'll get the rest. And we knew we were going to have to tighten up the budget, right? And I was like, okay, that sounds good. And we knew that there was other options, right? I wasn't going to be a stay-at-home mom forever. In fact, after 6 weeks of being a stay-at-home mom, I found myself with a lot of downtime and was like, well, what do I do with this downtime? I don't sit still. I have a ton of energy, and so I thought, well, I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna do something around her schedule. And I was nursing at the time, so I found a job. I answered an ad, and I started working for a young woman. She was a year younger than me. She did online branding and marketing. She paid me cash under the table, and she made $65,000 per month in her yoga pants, from home, gorgeous, over 3,000 square foot home. She lived all alone. She was single. And she taught me abundance, right? Not only did I get paid, but she loaded $100 on my Starbucks card every single week because I had to buy her a Starbucks twice a day. So she would buy me one. So every single week she loaded $100 on a Starbucks gift card. She paid for me to do Pilates. She paid for me to get my hair done, and she paid my salary. And so that was my first experience of working with someone who was wealthy. In my eyes, she was wealthy. She had everything. She had everything, right? And I basically became her sister. I was what's called a life manager. I managed everything so that she could work. She could do what she was really good at doing, which was marketing and branding. And I did that for a year and a half. And what I recognized is God was showing me she's no different. She just learned a skill quicker than I did. She just was a few years ahead of me. And you guys know the story of the 4-minute mile, right? No one could finish the 4-minute mile until somebody did. And then when someone sees it, they're like, oh, well, that person can do it, so I can do it, right? The competitive person wants to beat the 4-minute mile. So I'm not competitive against other people, but if I see someone else doing it, I'm like, I could do it. And I'm going to try to do it faster. I'm going to try and do it quicker. I'm going to try and do it with less effort. I'm going to try and do it right. I'm going to try and cheat. Like, I'm not going to cheat, but you know what I'm saying? Like, once I met her and saw what was possible, I learned that it was possible that you can build a business around your family schedule and, show up a few hours a day, be intentional with your work. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing I want you guys to write down is, what is my intentional income this week? What is your intentional income? It could be $50. It could be $200. What is your intentional income? If you had a job, then you knew that you got paid $20 an hour then you know if you work 5 hours a day, you're going to get $100. That's an intentional income. You have to show up to get the result. In our business, it works a little differently because there's no boss making you go to work. In fact, if you don't work, you pretty much just fired yourself. That's a choice. That's a decision. Well, I didn't work. It's not working, right? Most people, they're just having a hard time connecting the dots. And so I'm going to help you guys connect the dots because it was hard for me in the beginning too. Man, was I struggling. Oh, I was struggling so hard. I knew I was making it harder. I knew I was overthinking. I knew I was verbally vomiting on everybody. I knew I had commission breath, but I just kept showing up. I just kept showing up to the leaders that were making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 every single month. And I just kept listening to what they were saying to their people. And that's how I learned. I became coachable. I had to humble myself, right? There's some skills that I brought into the business. And there were communication skills that I am still developing as we speak, right? I had to humble myself and recognize, well, shit, I'm not making 20 grand a month. I could probably learn something from this person. And so I really became a good listener. So what is your intention with your day and with your week? And if it's income, then you've got to get clear on how that money is coming. The other thing is, what is your mission? What do you stand for? I stand for moms getting paid to raise these tiny humans because society is running a rampant. These kids don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to do it. And it's because we were forced to go into the workforce, right? And there's a power behind that. And I'm super ambitious. I want to make a ton of money. But when I take a look at the environment that my daughters are surrounded by, I'm like, oh, this is the swing of the pendulum. When there's no values, there's no family values, there's no morals. And I'm not here to judge what your lifestyle looks like and what your definition of family values are, but I have core family values. I grew up very close to my aunts and uncles and my cousins. I grew up where I always saw my family through holidays, and we vacationed together and we did all of these things. And I just take a look and I'm like, I want to make sure that my daughter has those family core values. And it's very difficult when you're working 50, 60 hours a week and your family members are working 50, 60 hours a week. Everybody's grinding. Everybody's stressed out. Everybody's pissed off. Everybody's competing with the Joneses. And no one's really relaxed and at peace and doing, raising children in the right way. And so that's my mission. Now, that is not going to land on everybody. I don't serve everybody. I serve the mom that's like, that's what I want. I want to go take my kids to a farm and get a little off the grid, right? Not completely bananas, but we want a different environment. We want a different culture. And 0.0.0.0% of 1% of the population want the same. And that's enough to make you the amount of money that you want to make. And that's different for all of us. So I want you to recognize that you got to have a mission. You got to have, it's not being a network marketer. No one wants to be a network marketer and no one wants to join your team. Nobody wants to be a network marketer. Nobody wants to join your team. Let's just get that out of the way. This offers us a vehicle. It's a job. It's a job. And if you do the job well and you develop the skills well and you help other people phenomenally well, then you will get out of it whatever you put into it. But if you're here to collect a paycheck and you're not helping anyone else, you're not serving anyone else, you're not standing for a mission, then those are skills that need to be developed. And that is where your income will be capped. Your income grows with your skill level. If I'm an entry level cashier, I'm going to get paid that skill. If I'm a cashier and I learn how to, run the drive-through, I might get a quarter raise. And if I learn how to run the drive-through and close the store at night, I might get a promotion and another raise. And if I learn how to run the entire store in a year, I might get a promotion and I get another raise. That's how income works. The difference is when you go into a corporate structure that looks like a pyramid, by the way, they make the rules. You got to be this age. You got to have this. You got to have a diploma. You got to have a degree. You have to have experience. They make the rules. In ours, we make the rules, which means I can decide how much money I want to make, how fastly, how quickly, based on the skills I'm developing. So if you are like, I don't want to be a leader. I've had people say like, I don't want to be a leader. You know, I'm afraid to be a leader. I'm not ready to be a leader. I get it. I'm afraid to be a leader myself. So that's 100% valid. But what I recognize is the leaders in my company, they make a lot more money. And what I recognize is it's my own self-doubt that's saying, well, I don't want to be a leader. I just want to do what I know how to do and get paid. Right? That's kind of like if you have a career, like I was a store manager and I was comfortable at my store manager. I was comfortable with my salary. I was like, man, I'm solid. I'm good. I'll stay right here. My income stopped. Over here, I'm like, man, being a leader is scary. But my mentors are saying, hey, you're a leader. Hey, do you want to serve? Hey, do you want to teach? Hey, do you want to train? And I'm like, huh, it's scary, but I want your income. So I'm ready to follow your lead. I'm ready to take your hand. I'm open and I'm coachable. I recognize I need more skills to make more money. So you've got to identify what skills you need. There's only 7 skills here, and I don't even teach them. A 7-figure phenomenal man teaches them. I'm not even here to teach you those. But what I want you to know is if you have intention with what you're doing in your business and you have a mission with why you're doing it, and the why can make you cry. You want to travel the world with your kids. You want to learn new things. You want them to experience it too. The why could be I want to quit my job. I hate my boss. The why could be I want to retire my husband. We don't see each other anymore. Your why could be, I just want an extra $500 a month and have some wiggle room. Your why could be I've never been on an all-inclusive vacation. The why isn't as important as the messaging to the why being congruent. Okay? The messaging to the why being congruent. What that means is I'm not here to sell a cup of coffee, right? If I walked into a Starbucks, I know I'm buying coffee because Starbucks marketed to me. It's not the coffee that I'm buying. What am I buying? I'm buying the energy. I'm buying the flavor. I'm buying the belief that I drink coffee every morning because it's a habit, right? It's the result. Why do we spend $6 on coffee? Do you know how bananas that is? Do you know how bananas it is to spend $6 on coffee? But we justify it. We'll spend $4 on an energy drink because we need energy. We justify the cost. It's crazy. It's crazy. But if we stopped doing that for 30 days, we would be able to afford a business that allows us to buy all the energy drinks that we want. So one of the things that we have to do is we have to have the mission, get intentional, have the mission, be congruent in your messaging, right? If I work for McDonald's and I'm the marketing director for McDonald's, who am I targeting? I'm targeting families who are hungry. I'm not directing my marketing to someone who just walked out of a restaurant. They're full. They're not eating my burger, right? Who am I targeting? Happy Meals, Target Kids. It's a brilliant marketing. It's called a Happy Meal for a reason. It's a marketing ploy to get you to buy your kid a freaking burger that's overpriced that you could cook in your own home. But we don't. We go to McDonald's. It's convenient. It used to be cheap. These fast food places are not, man, I remember the 99-cent days. They are not cheap anymore, right? It's convenient, it's easy, and makes your kids happy. So what are we really buying? We're buying our kids' smile. We're buying that we don't have to cook. We're buying our time. Well, shit, if I buy a Happy Meal, I don't have to cook. That's what McDonald's sells. So you have to think about what do you sell? And then they serve. And that's customer service. If I go into McDonald's and I ordered no ketchup and extra onions and I don't get no ketchup and extra onions, then it's the person's job behind that cashier to customer service that person to make sure that that person's happy. Now, is the customer always right? No. 25 years customer service, I'm going to tell you that is bullshit. If you come at me with an attitude, you're going to get an attitude right back. Don't walk into my store and disrespect me. However, if you walk into my store and you're a kind person, you're like, hey, the cashier made a mistake or the cook made a mistake or hey, I was overcharged. Hey, let me take care of you. I want you back in my store. What I want you guys to recognize is you need to do that when you build your business because there are people you don't want in your store. There are people you don't want on your teams. They are toxic people. They will create a toxic environment. Right? You do not want someone who is habitually disrespectful to other people because that toxic trait will come out within your team. So one of the reasons why I interview people before I ever tell them what I'm doing is because, listen, I don't know if this is a fit for you. I have no idea if what I do is a fit for you, right? If someone walked into McDonald's, then they know that they're going to apply for a cashier, a manager, assistant. Like there's only a handful of positions that they can apply for. But when you do marketing on social media the right way, where people have no idea what you do, they just know that you're at a Marriott doing a training and your kids are hanging out and they want to do that too, but they don't know what you do, that's curiosity. So if someone's like, hey, hey, Jen, what do you do? I'm going to get on the phone with them. If they're like, can't you just tell me what you do? No, I can already tell you're a dig. No, I can't just tell you what I do because I don't know if I want to serve you. And my job is to get you a paycheck. My job is to serve you at the highest level. My job is to be available for you to teach and train you and coach you. And if you're a jerk face right off the bat, trust me, I'm not trying to work with you, right? If your ego is in the way in the beginning, well, just tell me what you do. Nope. Clearly you don't need me. You must have it all figured out. Go find someone else because I'm not willing to work with that personality type. I had someone on the team go through this the other day, and he sent me a screenshot, and she was being very impatient. And I said, move on from her. If she's not willing to give you 15 minutes of her time, move on from her. Now, this is what I do. These are just ideas. This is just what works for me. You can try them on, and if you like them, then continue to use them. And if you don't, if you want to have conversations with people that are, impatient, then that's totally valuable too. I wouldn't recommend that, but that's on you, right? So being intentional, having a mission statement. Why do I work with moms? Because I understand the struggle. I understand mom guilt. I understand self-confidence of being dependent on a spouse. I understand wanting to make more money than your spouse just because you want to for no other reason, right? For me, it's because my grandfather did it. And my grandfather was who raised me. He was the man that raised me. And I want to be like my grandfather. So I have that alpha spirit in me. I want to be able to provide for my family. The difference being, it's not like, oh, I want to make more money than my husband. It's that my husband's at an income cap in his career and I am not. I can rise beyond where I can go to $25,000 a week. He cannot. Right? So it's not like, God, Jen, you want to make more money than your husband? No, I have the ability to, and I'm going to take that as high as I choose to take it. Right? So that's okay. I have a mission statement. I have a purpose. That's why I work. That's why the brand is Freedom for Families. It's creating freedom for families so we can get back our family values. Right? I'm humble. I came from humble beginnings. We didn't have a lot growing up. My kids get way too much now. Right? Some would call them spoiled. But my kids also, they know that they're worthy. They know that they deserve it. They earn it, right? They know how to earn it now so that when they get a job, they're like, what the hell is this? I'm like, I know it sucks, right? But if they have a job that they're passionate about, that's fine. Maybe they find a side gig. I don't know. The point is I'm able to show my kids different. I'm able to show my kids more. I'm also demonstrating to my children that they can be, do, and have anything that they want because mommy's doing it. I'm not telling them they can be, do, and have everything, and then I'm stressed out living paycheck to paycheck, telling them we can't afford it. That's hypocrisy. Been there, done that. It's not good, right? I want to give my kids more, which means I have to show them what's available for them, for us as a family. So that's why my mission is my mission. It is not going to land with everybody. But I don't serve everybody, and you don't either. So it's not that you want to be a network marketer. You don't. Trust me. Probably don't even want to be in direct sales. But if this vehicle gets you over here, which is your definition of freedom, then this is what your mission is. This is the result. This is not, we don't talk about this. We don't tell people what we do. We don't share our links. We don't do any of that. We have a mission because when people know where they're going, they will get followers. But if you have no idea where you're going, no one's on that journey with you. They're like, well, if you don't know where you're going, I'm not following you. I need a leader to show me something more. I need a leader that's going to show me how to make $3,000 to $5,000 per month. Do you know how to do that? No? Okay, well, then I can't follow you. Do you know how to do that? Yes? Okay, I can follow you. So you've got to have a mission statement, and your message and your brand has to be clear on that so that it lands with one person. because one person will get results and turn into two, and two people will get results and turn into four, and four people will get results and turn into eight. And it's the compound interest. It's the rule of compound. It's a real thing. But if your messaging is all over the place and people don't know who you help and people don't know what you do and you're all wishy-washy, then they won't follow because you don't have clarity in the direction that you're going. So they don't know if you can lead them into a new direction. So if you want to help other people, and the best way to create wealth is helping other people get what they want. And we know that this is a numbers game. We know 1 out of 10 people will say yes. It's proven by science, which means we have to ask 10 people, 20 people, 30 people a day a question. We are direct. We are in direct sales. We are network marketers. We're not here to talk about the weather for 14 weeks and never pop the question, right? It can be natural. You meet a woman from Florida and you're going back and forth in Facebook Messenger. Hey, Brandy, quick question. Have we ever talked about what I do? I think you'd be great at it. It's super simple, guys. It's really, really super simple. And it's just about having a mission, having intention. What are you showing up doing on your day? Making business cards isn't going to get you paid. Perfecting your Canva background isn't going to get you paid, right? It's having conversations. You can do all of that stuff later. But if you want a paycheck right now, if you want to make $500 in your first month, the only thing that you have to do, guys, when I was 22 years old, I made $4,000 in my first week because I asked the same question to over 1,000 people a week. Hey, quick question. Boom, boom. What kind of perfume do you wear? What kind of cologne do you wear? That's it. Hey, quick question. Boom, boom. What kind of cologne do you wear? I did it belly to belly, face to face, business to business. One of the reasons why I'm closing my, after the trainings, I'm inviting a few people in to see what I do behind the scenes is because that's all I do. That's all I do. Hey, quick question. Da, 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 right? My question will be different depending on the audience that I'm working with, depending on the person that I'm working with. He who has the most conversations wins, but it's not conversations about the weather and your children. That's building rapport. It shouldn't take more than 30 seconds to 3 minutes or 20 minutes if you have a high ticket, if you have a $20,000 ticketed program, then you're probably going to spend 20 minutes building rapport. If you have $1,000 program, then you don't need to build that much rapport. You need to just identify if they're a fit for your program. If you're going out there and you're selling a bunch of shit and people are not getting results, this is perfect for coaches, right? If you went and went online and purchased a coaching certificate, so you went through school and now you've got, 14 clients and none of those clients are having a breakthrough, but you're telling social media that you're making $10,000 a month, the purpose is to transform your clients, not build your bank account. Because what happens is if you transform your clients, they're going to bring you business and you will never run out of leads. But if you show up to sell someone something and you don't serve them from the heart, they will not come back. They'll get tired of being sold to. They won't come back. They won't feel like they're helped. They'll tell all their friends that it's your fault that they didn't make any money. They'll blame everything else. They won't take responsibility that it's a business because you didn't help them in the first place. And that's a whole other thing, right? Because sometimes you're just developing a skill. In the very beginning, your only job is to invite people to see something. Even when I sold physical products, hey, quick question, what kind of cologne do you wear? I invited them to touch my bottle of cologne. I had a product in their hand before they could answer the question, right? If I would walk into insurance companies and say, hey, quick question, I'd slide it across the thing. What kind of perfume and cologne do you wear? I would wow them. I would be fun. I would entertain them. They literally paid for entertainment, right? I'm fun. People like to be around me and they'll pay so that I keep coming around, right? But we have to give them the breakthrough that they need. We have to give them the money that they need. We have to give them the, vacation that they need because they all need something. And so we have to show up with the intention of serving them first. Sales is about one thing, and it's people. You can call it traffic, you can call it customers, but at the end of the day, every person who clicks on something of yours is a human being with a heart and a soul. And if you're just trying to collect a paycheck, they're going to feel that based on the conversation. But if you intentionally are wanting to help them get the result, like weight loss or $10,000 a month, you can't do that without having a conversation about them, what their goals are, what their dreams are, breaking down reality for them, right? Helping them manage their expectations. We talked about the 10 tips yesterday. If you missed that, go back and watch that video. We have to help them manage the expectations. This is not get rich quick. This is not get rich overnight. And building a team is about them, not how cool we are, but how incredible they are and what is possible for them and what they can do, and encourage them to stay into the right activities. And I'll tell you, I talk with a lot of women that are like, I don't even know who my upline is. My upline won't do presentations for me. No one's helping me out. I feel like I'm on an island all by myself. Listen, I felt that way too, until I recognized, well, two things. One, I was like, this has to work because getting a job is not an option. So if this has to work and I can't find an upline I like, what am I going to do? I continued to find an upline that I liked. People are willing to work with you. People are willing to work with you, but they're only willing to work with you if you're putting in the work, especially if they've already created time freedom. We do not want our time wasted with someone who has excuses why the business isn't working. When you get on a piece of paper and they're like, I've talked with everyone, and you're like, okay, put the names down that you've talked to, and there's 3 names. You've got to help people manage the expectations of this business. 10 people will say yes. I was working with a young woman yesterday. She had 2 people sign up in her first 72 hours. We're still getting the second one, and she talked to 40 people. Some of you guys are expecting your first 3 people to say yes, and when they don't, you're like, this doesn't work, I quit. It does work if you're willing to recognize that spamming your link all over social media is selling, and no one wants to be sold to. But everybody wants to buy. So what are you really selling? Are you selling Tupperware? Or are you selling moms who are throwing away produce every single week because they don't have the right Tupperware for their lettuce and their lettuce is getting wilted? Right? Are you selling an airplane, or are you selling, an all-inclusive trip? Like, we just gave away a cruise last night to somebody because we do giveaways inside of our group. So we gave away a cruise last night to someone she was already taking a look at our business opportunities. So she's super excited to do an interview with her. But what are you selling? Are you selling a cup of coffee, or are you selling energy throughout the day that tastes amazing, blah, 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 right? You're not selling the thing. You don't sell toothpaste, you sell white teeth, right? So hope this makes sense for you guys. I'm going to do another closed training today. I invite you, if you're interested in participating in something like that. I have what's called a Freedom for Families formula. It is an affiliate link that allows you to earn 30%. It's absolutely free to join. I'm going to show you step by step exactly what to do, how to sell it. And in the beginning, you're going to master one skill and one skill only, and that's the invite. And when you can master the invite, then the world could be your oyster, because you're going to leverage other people. You're going to learn how to pay for other people's skills, right? Freedom for Families is not Jennifer's. It is a group effort. There is an entire organization behind me to get Freedom for Families launched and off the ground. And so that's an opportunity for you to get coaching with me. It's a free opportunity. You don't have to pay for anything. You're going to learn how to sell Freedom for Families, and then you would invite them into having the business on the back end. And if that's something that you're interested in, then you could go to f3blueprint.com and fill out the application and jump on a call with me. All right, friends, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.